And it's Katie, and this is Classically Black Podcast.
We talk all things classical music and being black in the profession.
With trap beats playing in the backyard. What is that? The
what?
Background. The back. I don't know what I said.
The backyard?
Yeah, I don't know what I said. I think
trap beats are playing in your backyard?
Okay, so anyway, you know what happened? I was thinking about how I was back in my yard, because Jamaicans say, like, you know, Madame Yard, right? Because I was going to say shout out to the 585 after I said that, because I'm back in Rochester, and then one thing led to another, and I messed up the intro, but we're not doing it again because I just want to start. So, period, poo.
All right. Well, trap beats playing in your backyard, everyone.
Okay, so you're trash, and now everybody knows. This is what I deal with on a daily basis. So,
I mean, this is episode. You've said this 40 times before this. And let me tell you, we were having technical difficulties, but every time I would start, Katie would be like, whoa, I'm not ready. I'm like, you're not ready to say, hey, it's Katie? You couldn't have thought on your feet for that one?
Like, it's not about that, and you know it's not. You know how this program works. You suck. Like, you do. Honestly, it's about time I start holding auditions for a replacement, because
that audition.
I think
I told you.
Can you imagine? Now say, hey, it's Katie.
Go ahead.
Can you imagine? What would that even look like? And who the hell is auditioning? Like, for what?
Auditioning.
Okay, scripts, memorized.
I guess splitting up, and now I have a podcast called Classically Black.
And we do, but we only record our segments. So
that would be boring as hell. Nobody will listen to mine.
Yeah, they would. People like news and junk. Okay, not that face. It's
better than your torturous intermissions.
They're not torturous, Delaney. Like, I feel like they're a lot of fun. Like, once you get into them, like, and also intermission this week is like not bad. You know, I'll be balancing it out. You know what I'm saying? Really? Torturous? What's the freaking news? Like, what's the news? What happened?
All right. Terrible news this week, once again.
Well, it's America, so.
Yeah, so. Famed opera singer David Daniels and his husband, William Walters, have been indicted in Texas on charges that they took turns raping a fellow musician.
Okay, so thank you so much for listening to Classic Black Podcast.
No, it gets so much worse.
How? What the heck? I don't want to do this. I'm actually done. I have to go practice. Gateways is like in 3 days. So I'm gonna talk to you later. I don't want to do this.
Well,
how you just come out the? Well, you should give a I'll put that in the description. What's it called? Disclaimer? Not a disclaimer. What's it called?
Yeah. Content warning.
Yeah. Okay.
I gave one on something that we did that was graphic on the violin teacher with the shoulder rest. I didn't do one on the last episode. And I was gonna get to some of the stuff that will require a content warning a little bit later.
There's more things that require more.
No, I was gonna talk about, because I'm not going to say them. But anyway, if convicted, they would each face up to 20 years in prison. Oh, by the way, they were indicted on on one count of felony sexual assault of an adult each. The alleged victim, baritone singer Samuel Schultz, first came forward in August of 2018. And he said that Daniels and Walters, I guess this will require a content warning. I'm about to say something. They drugged and raped him after he agreed to visit their apartment following a Houston Grand Opera performance in May of 2010. So, before I get into the details of the case, I just want to say that there is an article that has like some excerpts from his statement as to what actually happened in detail. They're too graphic for me to feel comfortable repeating, so I'm not going to say them. However, it will be the first I will link 3 articles on this. The first one is the one that has like the most details from the victim. But it, like, when I was reading it, like, my stomach was turning. So, like, I'm not gonna repeat any of it.
What the? Okay.
Like, oh my god, like, my skin is crawling just thinking about it. Anyway,
like, what that got to do with Puccini? Y'all are just okay. I'm sorry.
Right. So a quote from the opera singer. He said, I appreciate you reaching out to me, talking to the newspaper. He said, other than I deny these allegations, I have nothing to say. They're completely false.
Completely?
But then his lawyer said, Sam Schultz, the victim, he said, Sam Schultz's allegations are false. He is not a victim. He drove himself to David and Scott's apartment at 3:20 a.m. to meet them after a night of partying. Him driving himself there at 3:20 a.m. has literally, like, nothing to do with what happened
at all.
Why would you say? First of all, you just hurt your case.
Like, honestly,
and you're a lawyer. I would expect that from, like, the client, because, like, you're just dumb. But the lawyer, are you kidding?
You know what? Maybe he went into one of them like websites where you get your law degree, like your JD, like, at the end of the day, if you, like, fill out a series of questions. Maybe that's what it is. That makes sense, because that sounds like something a toddler would say. Because, well, you the one who went over there, so
right. You're not a victim because you drove yourself over there. What?
That doesn't make okay. Keep going, because I'm annoyed.
Okay. Because especially that is a terrible, but accurate example of victim blaming, where you were like, well, it was 3 o'clock in the morning and y'all would have been partying and you drove there, so, like, you know what was going to happen. First of all, no, he didn't. Like, first of all, a night of partying, they were at an opera.
Exactly. Okay, so the opera gets out. The opera gets out at what? Freaking 10:30. Then you have to take all your makeup off and no, whatever you have to do after. So now it's 11:30. You went to a party. Okay, so, like, now 3:30.
Y'all might go have some drinks or whatever, but
right now you're doing, like, one more thing before you go home. Like, that wouldn't be out of the ordinary to me. Like, you go get drinks or whatever. You go hang out with people. You get food, and then you make one more stop. Like, I don't understand. Like, how was he supposed to know?
And you're going to right,
child. Anyway,
and you're going to the apartment of a married couple. You're not expecting them to slip something in your drink,
right?
Freaking okay. Shortly after Schultz spoke to the New York Daily News, more allegations against Daniels began to resurface, because that's how that goes. Almost all the time. Just days later, police in Pittsfield Township, Michigan, said that they were investigating a report that Daniels improperly solicited a sex act from someone on Grindr in February 2017. And then in October, a man named Andrew Lippian stepped forward and filed a lawsuit against both Daniels and the University of Michigan, where he teaches, claiming that Daniels drugged him with an Ambien and assaulted him in March 2017.
What?
The University of Michigan, where he works, has confirmed the initiation of his firing process, because he is tenured. That is going to take, a little bit more than just by.
Yeah. Not just by. Okay.
But, however, he hasn't even taught there in almost a year, because he was placed on paid leave.
Did we talk about this before?
I don't think so.
This sounds familiar. Like, not like, of course, not them getting, like, indicted, but, like, wasn't somebody placed on leave for doing? I don't know. Maybe I'm making it up. Someone will let us know.
I don't remember talking about this.
Also, we didn't have a podcast in 2018. Oh wait, yeah. What was the date in 2018?
August. We didn't.
Oh, maybe I was talking about it with somebody else. All right, never mind.
It's plenty of these. So, he hasn't taught there in about a year, because he was placed on paid leave when the initial story broke in August 2018. But even before that, in March 2018, the university received reports of 2 separate incidents involving him soliciting sex acts from students in exchange for money on Grindr.
So prostitution.
Right.
That's cool.
But
school.
That's not even the part so much that I take issue with, is that it's students.
Yeah, like
solicitation is illegal. I have my own opinions on that. But the fact that you're soliciting, 2 separate incidents involving him soliciting sex acts from students in exchange for money on Grindr. So prostitution. Right.
That's
sexual acts from students, that's a gross misuse of power. You're a tenured professor. That's like
and there are people who will do it with you for free who aren't students.
Despite the fact that this happened in March, 2 months later, the faculty voted unanimously to grant him tenure.
Okay.
Yep, so that was in May. Then in July, an anonymous letter was sent calling him and his husband serial rapists, which led to a new investigation during which the victims from the Grindr case provided screenshots of his messages, where he offered to pay them $300 for sex with a student for a, quote, hot dad-son fantasy. And even though they were provided those screenshots, it took them 8 months for the school to come to a conclusion that he had sexually harassed the student.
8 months, because it probably pushes to the back of some file because somebody lying and being dramatic.
Screenshots don't lie.
That is true. Listen, lie. Y'all save y'all receipts.
Got my backup files.
Listen, I love me a good receipt. I ain't gonna hold you.
So him and his husband have been indicted for these terrible crimes. So I guess we will see.
Girl, put them underneath the jail.
What on God's green earth? I mean,
Not
first
on
of all,
God's earth.
Well, first of all, they put him on paid leave, so he's getting his $190,000 salary for doing nothing.
For doing nothing.
For actually doing worse than nothing.
For actually probably raping other people, like while he's on leave.
And Chile. And it took this guy, he came forward in 2018 and this happened to him. The guy who filed the initial report happened to him in 2010, and he said that it took him all that time, and after that being like blackballed and all that for coming forward, but he was like, nah, he felt like with the Me Too movement and stuff that he had to come forward, because it's happening, like, as we've seen from multiple stories on the show, it happens to people in the classical music world, and they feel like they can't say anything because what's going to happen to their career.
Yeah. And also, like, I think we talked about this just last week. It's like, okay, you say something and that person gets whatever handled or taken care of hopefully in the right way, and then it's like nobody else wants to work with you because for XYZ reason. So it's like such a slippery slope.
Mm-hmm. Actually. So we'll keep you updated on what else comes of that. In other news, good news for once. The Virginia Symphony Orchestra has received an $80,000 grant from the League of American Orchestras that will help them.
Shout out to Beverly.
That will help them become more sensory friendly to patrons. The grant will allow the symphony to present 3 concerts to, quote, celebrate neurodiversity in all its forms. So each concert will be open to everyone, but they will feature accommodations for people on the autism spectrum or with sensory sensitivities.
Cool.
So they will have flexible seating so that guests can sit where they would like. They'll have a quiet space in the lobby so that where you can still hear the music, but it's a little bit like it's not so in your face. For people that have sensory sensitivities, tickets will be fully refundable for people who find that they can't continue with the concert. If you can't stay for the whole thing for some reason, you can get a refund. Booklets with information on the timing of each show and how long specific portions are so the guests know what to expect will be available beforehand. And instead of alternating between fast and slow pieces, the shows will each have a gradual build throughout. The first sensory friendly concert is scheduled for November 2nd at the Ferguson Center in Newport News. and there will be 2 more following in the spring.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Shout out to them.
Right. It's nice to see somebody looking to diversify in more than like a very predictable way.
Yeah, like I would have never thought of doing something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what my cousin Jaden, like he's a twin. He has he has autism, like pretty severe autism. And I don't know if he would like that. He might. Mm-hmm. As long as you can, it depends, because people have varying sensory, needs. Yeah. So it probably be like way too much stimuli for him. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, maybe in the choir room, because it's like a room in the lobby where the music is like, you can still see it. Like, kind of like how, when there's overflow seating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something like that where the music is really low. So you can still like hear it, but it's a environment where you're not supposed to. Because I don't know. All right, you got an intermission?
Oh, that was it?
Yep.
Okay, it's time for the intermission.
Is that English?
Yeah. You ain't hear me? You understand? It's time for the intermission. Ketchup, mustard. Okay, so this week, later on, you'll hear us doing a recap on YOLA National. So y'all heard us mention Jaleisha a couple times in last week's episode. Every time I was telling Delaney, every time I get around Jaleisha, like I get like a burst of creative energy, because honestly, while trifling, she's one of the most creative people I know. And she's a violinist and teaches. She has a hair company, like just a true entrepreneur. And it's like, yes, we should focus on our craft. Like, girl, do your 5 to 8 hours a day, like practice, take auditions. But like, what other talents do you have that like are kind of hobbies that like you're really good at, that you might not spend as much time as you like to or can't, but other things you're good at? So not really music related this week, but I want to know, Delaney, like what is something that you're good at that is not related to bass, or I mean it could be related to music. Like I know some people sing, you know what I'm saying? Like what is something that you like to do that's not related to music?
So when she told me this,
okay,
I was like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not even good at music no more.
All right, so
because like I remember I used to think about that a lot. Like I spent so much of my time doing music, like throughout high school and middle school. Like that was I had like I had like one other extracurricular besides that was not music related at all. But like,
what was it?
Always an orchestra. I was a tutor for School on Wheels, which is an organization that provides tutoring for homeless children. So me and my mom would like tutor younger kids.
Aww.
But
so cute.
But other than that, I feel like I might have been in like a club or two or whatever, but most of the time, like, I would be like, dang, what would happen if I just woke up and didn't want to do this no more? Like, what other skills do I have?
I mean, like, mine are really like, the two that I have, I can do them, but they not like, I don't know, they're not like, I'm a low-key figure skater, you know what I'm saying?
You're not a finger skater.
I used to think when I was younger, I used to think it was finger skating, and I was like, why they call it that? Like, sometimes I still say it. Well, it's not like I'm like low-key like busting like triple axles on the side, you know? It's nothing like that.
Oh, you be figure skating?
I remember I wanted to
you be ice skating?
Like, I wanted to be ice skater when I was younger. Like, believe it or not. Because that was when Michelle Kwan was like, that girl. And I was like,
I hate ice skating. I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, I tried it one time. I was like, absolutely.
It's so scary.
Not.
I'm like, it is terrifying on this little teeny blade.
And it's a blade. Like, that's dangerous. Also, like, how the hell are you supposed to get back up after you fall? Like, I don't. Like, I tell you, like, I had all these plans, right? I was talking to freaking Miss O'Gura, right? I was after school. I was like, Miss O'Gura, bet I'm finna be an ice skater. Like, I'm finna ice skate. I'm finna get endorsements. Like, you gonna see. She was like, you're delusional. And I was like, all right. Yeah, she sucked. So
That's crazy.
I mean, she meant it like, me and Miss O'Gura were like, how do I describe it? Like, she was my girl, right? So it's like she laughed at me, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna show you. So I go down to the ice skating rink. I'm like, all right, bet. So put my ice skatings on. I like get on the ice and I came right back. I was like, absolutely not. Like, I was like, I don't. If you know me in real life, I don't quit stuff. But like that, I kid you not, it lasted like a smooth 1 minute. Like, you can't grip on nothing, especially when they go over with the, what's it called, the Zamboni.
Yeah, Zamboni.
Now it's no chance now. Ain't nothing to grip on. No, ain't no little ridge in the ice to like hold on to. No,
hilarious.
So that was short lived.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, back to, like, I can't make it up. Like, it was freaking ridiculous. Like, I've never quit something so fast. Oh, that and badminton. Badminton is not fun. I tried badminton. Like, I went to the little auditions. No, what's it called? The tryouts. And you had to run. I'm like, ain't we hitting a birdie? Like, what we running for? And then I was like, that's not going to be it either. So, okay, go ahead.
So, I guess I'm good at organizing things.
Okay, what's that Japanese lady? She Japanese?
Marie Kondo. That's not what I mean. She's Japanese.
Foldy.
Okay. My laundry sitting on the floor for days.
Everybody got that chair, girl. My laundry stay. When I do laundry, I just pick it up. I just pick it out the pile and I iron it. That's all I do.
I don't got time. I'm good at organizing like words and stuff, I guess. Files, boring things.
Terrible. Huh? That sounds terrible. Oh, we've had this conversation before, actually.
Boring things. I like it. Like, I love organizing information. It's great.
I looked at Delaney's calendar, like, during the semester, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not gonna, and also, like, she inspired me, like, for like a slick, like, 5 minutes, right? Because I saw these little boxes, and I'm like, why would I take an hour to put all these little boxes in?
It don't take an hour, though, because you can put in the stuff that repeats. I rarely update my calendar because most things are like they're routine, so they repeat. What I will say about my calendar, though, I'm a little neurotic because I'm not very motivated. So I schedule everything, even my free time.
I used to do that. Like, when I was when I wanted to get into Eastman, the lady that like helped me get here, like, she made me schedule everything because she used to say I wasted a lot of time because I would hang out all the time with Eileen. Shout out to Eileen. So she made me like schedule everything, like even to like when I like calling your mom, like I had to schedule like, okay, I'm gonna call my mom for 10 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna practice for 3 hours. Okay, I'm gonna eat dinner for 30 minutes. I'm like, girl, I don't know however long the show is. Like, how am I supposed to know when I'm out? And what if something else comes up with my suggestion on YouTube, and then it's gonna take longer for me to eat dinner? Like, I don't know how long it's gonna take me to eat dinner. That's like, I admire that because like scheduling every moment of your day. I've
gotten worse at it. I don't really have because I have to use my work calendar for stuff, and it's on like Microsoft and Outlook because that's the thing that the company uses. So now it's like my personal calendar, I use Google and stuff. So now it's like I can't be doing all the back and forth, and it's just too much. So I don't really schedule that much anymore. But yeah, I'm good at that. And like, you know, I'll be like, yeah, I made a doc and can you put it in this folder, and I'm gonna organize the folder.
I drive Delaney crazy because I'm like, girl, I got episode ideas on a note. I'm like, I can send you the note. Like, that's about as far as it's going.
And then you send me the note, but then you edit it, and I'm like, if you would just put in the doc, I can see it when you edit it. It's like, I edited. You didn't see? No, it's only on your phone. No, I did not see.
And people know I'm like a lot of people know that I'm like literally like, me and my grandma probably in the same boat when it comes to technology. Like, it's freaking terrible.
Okay,
like,
but Google Docs, sis. You use Google Docs.
Okay, but only when you make me, like, because
No,
I always have my phone.
I thought you said no. You use Microsoft Word, huh?
Yeah, I use Word because, but I gotten better. Like, you'd be so proud of me. I organized my my notes in my phone, so it's not just all on iCloud. It's like I have folders like.
Yeah, my notes could use some organization. And also, I put notes in different places. Like, I use Notes, but I also use Keep, which is the notes app for Google.
See.
And I also use Tasks. If you look at the first page of my apps on my phone, you will be like, this sounds so boring. I have books, pages, files, drive, docs, scan, calendar, tasks, sheets. Like, those are the names of the apps. Everything is just like paper. It's great.
Like, the fact that you're excited about this is like really bringing my energy down.
Wow. It's like, your intermission, so you asked me what I was doing.
Like, I need to get more organized because it reflects my life. But
my life is a surprising chaos, even though I am organized.
All right, so one thing that I like to do that I think that I'm like low key good at is doing hair. Like, I don't do hair that often, and also like you'll be surprised because y'all see me with the same dusty puff or the same.
Okay.
Like, my hair is like a variation on a theme. Like,
all right, it
starts off as a twist out. Then I haven't worn a twist out in ages because who has time?
That's true.
Actually, I did a soft twist out the other day. Like, I was going to get my my license renewed because I'm old now, and so I stretched my hair with a straightener. Oh my god, I hope my hair comes back. Oh my god, please pray for me, y'all. And then, cause I got one of them brush straighteners for 2A hair. You know what I'm talking about? Like the one where you comb it through and it straightens your hair. Mm-hmm. So I bought one of those from Burlington, and I stretched my hair and then I twisted it up with a little bit of gel so it didn't revert, like a little bit. And then it was really cute. It was like fluffy and stretched, and then my hair just shrunk right back up, like freaking disrespectful. I was like, what the heck? Like, like I was so angry. So I started with the twist out, then it goes to a dusty puff, then I might do a bun. If you see me with a bun, girl, you just know that my hair is on its last legs. Like, some people think, like, some people are like, oh, your bun is so cute. I'm like, girl, this is me.
That ratty ponytail.
I'm like, this is me where I'm not, like, my end should not be out. It just shouldn't. That's what this bun is. It's tucked all up underneath. But so you wouldn't know that I like to do hair, but I like to do, like, I was telling Delaney before we started, like, I did some feeding braids on my grandma because she's in Jamaica right now. And I just watched a YouTube video. I was like, oh, that's how you feed the hair in? All right, boom, bet. And I just did it. And it was like, I just like doing hair. Like, I used to love, like, what, like, shout out to Desiree. This girl Desiree taught me how to braid in the 6th period math class in 6th grade. I don't know what Mr. Daring was doing. I don't know where he was at, but she taught me how to braid. Because I taught myself how to braid, but I braided the other way, like with French braids. So she taught me how to, like, twist it around so, like, they look like braids. So shout out to Desiree. I don't know where she at, but thanks, girl. And just got better from there. I like doing hair. I'm about to do some passion twists, God willing. But I don't do hair often because it hurts my hands, especially like if I do like rope twists, like thumb joints, hurt a lot. I do box braids. Those don't hurt my hands at all. If I do my own box braids, unless I want I want them to look real nice or really small. I get the Africans to do it. Like this girl from Cote d'Ivoire did mine last time. She like braided my thoughts, but it was fine. Like, they were dumb cute.
I don't like small braids. The tiny.
They weren't. No. They weren't small. I probably had like 150 braids. Like, they weren't small. And they were gripped too. That's why I don't like. I'm pretty sure. I think I paid her like. Yeah, I paid her like $230 to do them braids.
That is insane.
Isn't that crazy?
You know, this lady that used to do my hair a long time ago did me the waist length box braids for $100.
See, that's freaking ridiculous.
That's
like in Chicago,
isn't that crazy?
That is freaking in Chicago. Like, and I'm messing around. First of all, she told me 180. Yeah. Then I'm like, boom. I get there. She sees the length of my hair, and I have like a huge head, so I have a lot of hair. And she was like, so...
Hey, Rapunzel.
Not even. She's like, it's gonna be $210. I said, sis.
Is this a salon?
Yeah, I went to a salon.
That's where you missed it.
Because
I've never ever got my hair braided in the salon. That is crazy to me.
Yeah, every time I go to an African salon. I be like African braiding. Like I went to this one girl. She was from Nigeria. I went to this one girl. She was from Cote d'Ivoire. Like I said, like when I go to a salon, that's gonna ensure that I'm not on the shade rooms what I asked for versus what I got. Right?
Really?
I know.
I go to people who I know people who do their hair, like people whose hair they have done.
Like I rather like when it comes to hair, just since I'm so particular about my hair, like I want to make sure that it's gonna look exactly how I want. I want all the braids the same size. I want them to last. You're not gonna be doing like nothing crazy. You're not gonna be blow drying out my hair. None of that. I want my braids the way I want them.
Actually,
I'd rather pay.
That's not true. I have got my hair braided in a salon once, but it was just like those 2 braids. It was dumb expensive. It was like $50. It was ridiculous.
Oh, them 2 braids. That's reasonable. Did she wash it?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and for 2 braids, I don't know. I'm just used
2
to
braids,
getting my hair done, sitting on somebody's living room floor and getting my hair done.
That's all nothing. I don't like sitting between legs. Like,
you
also like, and also, another thing. My mom stopped doing my hair when I was like in 5th grade. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, all right, Katie, so. And because she got acrylics and she was like, well, you good, right? So I just had to figure it out. Like, I was doing ponytails for a while. Then I would just do little stuff. I would learn to braid. I would braid my own hair. That was back in the day when it used to be in style where like you would braid just the front of your hair. I think I still see kids doing that. Like you braid the front and the back. There'd be a party in the back. You could have a ponytail. You have a bun in the back. You could straighten the back. You could do a bunch of stuff. Like I would do stuff like that. Yeah.
I also not would. I mean, now my sister does my hair for free. So, but I also not paying that much money when I could just get a weave for that much money and buy human hair.
Also, but braids last so long. The last time I got braids professionally done was when I came to Eastman. So I don't do it often. Like that was 3 years ago. Like I didn't know I knew Eastman was going to be terrible. I didn't know on what scale, and I knew I didn't want to be dealing with my hair. So I got them done. They lasted till October. I mean, I also took them out like prematurely because when they start hanging off by a thread, I take them out because I don't want my edges to go with it. But yeah, and they were dumb nice and they were long. But when I got them twists like in Jamaica, see, so I gotta go to Jamaica because I gave my cousin, she was my cousin, she did them. They were waist length mini Senegalese twists, like easily $300 anywhere else. I gave her 3,000 Jamaican dollars, which is about $28, like freaking ridiculous. So yeah, I was doing hair. I also like cooking. I used to cook, like it's harder now. Like I'm trying to like find my way with cooking.
Cook for 2, yeah.
I gotta cook for 2. I'm figuring out vegan stuff, so that's been exciting. But I used to cook most of the meals when I was like in high school with my mom.
Yeah, and I think I turned 16. She was like, "You're on your own." I was like,
my mom like, because I love Ina, she's great, but I just rather cook because my mom's gonna make chicken and rice. I'm like, or we could have like fettuccine alfredo. I used to make it from scratch, like heavy cream, butter.
I just made that the other day. Just made it the other day. But of course, I put some chili in it because I like it spicy. So,
and then if I wanted to, the Cheesecake Factory has this dish. I'm gonna recreate it as vegan. Stay tuned. It's like a sun-dried tomato. Anyway, it's a sun-dried tomato, like chicken Alfredo.
I love sun-dried tomatoes.
So I used to put like sun-dried tomatoes in it. Like I was cooking like freaking
sun-dried tomatoes are so good.
They're so good and it's slept on.
With the herb blend on. Listen.
It's freaking
culinarily black podcast.
Right. And you put some basil in there too just to round it out. Like, listen.
I love basil. Some fresh basil.
Man, I used to sell cheesecakes in high school. Like I had a cheesecake recipe and I used to sell them. Like I would just make a bunch of them. Yeah. Like
that got to an issue at my high school where they were like stopping people if you had anything. They were like, "What's in there? You selling that?" And it's like, chill.
Oh no, not at school. Because, but like just like
people used to sneak and sell like chips and stuff.
I love it. Black people are so resourceful. But
and Kool-Aid like gummy worms, Kool-Aid pickles.
That's freaking nasty.
It's ratchet as heck.
But the people at church, people at my mom's job, they would just order my cheesecakes and I was like a little side hustle.
What?
Yeah. Like I used to love to cook, and I still do or whatever. But like it's just a different love because I'm 3 years in vegan. I'm still trying to figure out like what's the best way to make tofu. What's the best way to make this taste as cheesy as possible. Stuff like that. But yeah,
with cheese.
Okay, so anyway, with nutritional yeast and cashews.
That sounds really nasty. Nutritional yeast, yum.
Yeah. Okay, it sounds terrible. Even my cousin's a chef, and he was like, "So you eating yeast to like activate yeast? Is that safe?" I'm like, "Yes, Dakota. I'm freaking growing bread in my stomach. Like, relax. It's like it's funny. It's deactivated yeast. It has like a nutty umami flavor. Like."
And nobody, this is America. Nobody wants to eat nothing with the word nutritional in the name.
It's true. But you know what? I'm happy I'm on the vegan train now. I feel like it's new enough where I have an idea that I'm working on, like a passion project I'm working on. I'm not going to share it right now, but
share it. No, I'm just kidding.
But I feel like it's a great time to be vegan. Also, I think people, even if they don't want to be vegan, I think a lot of people are moving towards at least having like one plant-based meal a day or one plant day. Or at least a meatless day. And so it's a really exciting time. Also, people realize like vegan's not really like a phase. Like, I wish I was still in LA. Like, I had Del Taco. I was so impressed. Like, I freaking loved it. Like, apparently KFC's working on a vegan chicken option. I probably still won't eat it because their normal chicken is trash. So if you can't even
normal chicken, probably vegan too. Probably ain't chicken.
You freaking suck. Ugh. Probably.
You saw Burger King coming out with an Impossible Burger? Big Mac?
Yeah, Burger King's doing the Impossible Burger. Like, so it's like vegan's not a, like, I don't care what you eat. Like, I honestly don't. My views on veganism have changed since I became vegan because a lot of people know, like, a lot of my friends know that I became vegan to lose weight, and I did. And so I didn't care nothing about animals, but now I'm kind of like, well, you know.
You said that because I always be like, you don't care about the animals. And you be like, I can change the reason why I'm vegan.
Yeah, I can. Like, because at first I would say, like, I'm like, girl, I don't care nothing about your cows and your chickens because I'm like Jamaican. Like, I've watched my aunt slaughter chickens, her own chickens. Like, that was terrible to watch. Because they do keep running after their heads are chopped off. But don't worry, because she dips them in hot water. So,
great.
It's called scalding to their death. That was freaking terrible. Shout out to Auntie Palm. But
wow.
But yeah, cooking's fun.
I'm super good.
Super good on what?
Meat. Like, you know, I don't drink. The only thing pretty much the only thing I do that's vegan is I don't drink cow milk no more. That's about it.
Yeah, I don't know why people like. Okay, I used to
every other milk is better.
Literally, like. Honestly, that's one thing when I went vegan I was worried about because I used to drink like I live by myself and I would buy a gallon of milk. Like I used to love to drink milk. Like I would just drink it. You know what I'm saying?
That is so weird.
Is it weird?
Yes.
I don't know. Like I would drink milk. Especially like my grandfather, maybe growing up with my grandfather too, like he would buy the good milk. Like cause my mom used to buy skim milk. And I'm just like
yeah.
Like I'll be like,
but I'm glad I did because like that's so much unnecessary fat when you drink whole milk all the time. Whole milk tastes like a dessert to me. Like it tastes like a dessert.
I mean, yeah, but
so
I used to be like, mommy, there has to be some. I remember one week like she slipped up on accident and bought like 1% milk, and I was like, see, was that so bad? And like the next week I looked in the fridge and it was back to skim milk. Like, but my grandpa, like he would buy the good milk, like the whole milk, like it's all thick. Like I used to freaking love
whole milk. Is so crazy. It's like
it is like a dessert.
It's like my god.
It's like a hop, skip, and a jump from not even a hop from heavy cream. Like it's ridiculous. Like
I can remember the last. I maybe have whole milk maybe once every 2 years just by like accident because I think my dad buys it, So like maybe if I'm over there and I have some cereal, I might have a whole milk. Or I think my grandma bought it on accident one time. Like
yeah, because depending on the brand, it's easy to like slip up and buy the wrong milk if you don't read it. But I mean, now I'm just like literally almost every plant milk except for pea milk is better than cow's milk.
I never
pea
had
milk
cashew
is like
milk. I would never drink.
Pretty good.
I would never drink pea milk. That doesn't even sound good.
I haven't tried pea milk, but I know that I won't like it because when there's pea protein in vegan ice creams, it's like overwhelming.
That's so nasty.
So that's why I'm just like, I don't even have to try it. I know I'm not gonna like it. But oat milk, freaking slept on. Like, I don't know what the girls are doing.
It sounds good. I remember wanting to try it. I was like, oat milk sounds dummy good. And
I was at Wegmans yesterday and they got chocolate oat milk, and I was like, okay, so good. I gotta figure that out. Like I'm gonna go back. I was like annoyed and in a rush yesterday, so I didn't stop to look at it too hard. But like, I must like. But yeah, there's options for the girls now. Like, it's crazy.
I eat less meat, but I'm never gonna stop eating meat. I'm just not.
I mean,
because I don't want to.
And also like I troll people like just to be like annoying, but like I honestly don't care what people eat, and also I don't say too much because like anyway, that's freaking ridiculous. Like, ugh. I thought you weren't saying names. Anyway, oh well. Anyway, yeah, like, yeah. Also, like, I don't know. I don't like. I really just don't care. Also, I come from Jamaicans. Like, they troll me every like holiday. Like, you grow up palm meat, nothing wrong with it. I'm like, I ain't saying
nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
I never said that. I'm saying like I went vegan to lose weight and I stuck with it. So now I'm just here, and like nothing's guaranteed. Like, I might eat meat again. Like, who can say? Like, life changes, you know?
You almost like dairy with them cupcakes. What's her name? Get you.
Dang. And you know, it's crazy. I'm so happy. Like, I would have trusted her because she's vegan, you know? So she felt so bad, but I appreciated the sentiment. Mm-hmm. And also, I don't live in a vegan world. So like, stuff happens to me. It doesn't happen often because like I've been vegan so long, but like, stuff happens. I can't remember the last time something happened, but every once in a while, like, there might be milk in something I didn't realize. Oh, them sweet tart ropes that I had.
Oh, with the gelatin.
They had gelatin because I read the ingredients too fast.
That's so weird because when I offered you some, you were like, nah, this got gelatin in them. And then you had them on a second occasion.
Did you offer to me them once before and I said no?
Yeah, when I was at your house and I bought that bulk package of them.
And then you bought the bulk package, and then I read them, but I read the ingredients too fast. I'm like, oh, sweet, these don't have gelatin in them. So I had one. And then, yeah. And then I went to, I was going to the movies with my little cousin, and I was buying him candy, and I read the ingredients again just to make sure I always read the ingredients. And I was like, oh, shoot. But it's like, whatever, you brush it off. Like, we don't live in a vegan world. But anyway, this
Thank God.
Okay. Well, we're about to be, so don't worry.
I will.
Well, I probably never. Once the animals like people like they're the majority, like it's over for all of us. So
it ought to be. Some of these animals really need to jack humans up because humans just do the craziest stuff.
It's the craziest thing.
And I'm like, you realize you could just your way out of here. Like,
honestly, like once they figure it out, it's over. Finito.
I don't blame them.
So one of that's gonna happen eventually, but this has been the longest intermission ever. So let's move on.
This week, we are we're not revisiting, but you guys all know there was that. What do we call it? A collection of, I don't know. We didn't call it an article because it wasn't.
Literally was. I think it was a statement.
Yeah.
He might as well just wrote it in his notes app. iOS press release, like, honest to God.
Okay, so before that was the nonsense. Well, not nonsense, but article, Time and Let Classical Music Die. We've already expressed our opinions about how we felt about that. Well,
what episode is that?
That's a good question.
Just in case you haven't heard it, Do I even have our thing?
36.
Yeah, check out episode 36. That felt like forever ago. Was that really only 5 weeks ago?
Dang, that feels like it was less than 5 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like we just did that. Probably because I was so annoyed. I was annoyed when we were recording it, and I was annoyed because I had to edit it. I annoyed the whole time, but oh well. So we voiced our opinions on that episode 36. Go check it out. And now we're back because we saw that there was an article in response to that called "You First, Dude."
Just when I saw the title, the title took me down, which I'm like, it was a little ridiculous. Like, okay,
it was a bit much.
Okay, we're not saying he has to die. Like, you really got to slow down. Like,
right.
Like, we don't want him to die.
Like, but this. So I clicked on this thinking like, oh, because it's in response to this article. But something told me that I was not going to agree with this one either, just because most people who come out in defense of classical music, especially in terms of like the guy have been talking about race. So like somebody that's coming out in defense of classical music, in defense of like classical music not being racist, and it's some white guy, like I was like, I'm probably not going to agree with most of the things he says either. Well, to my surprise, I clicked on the article and it was about 3 lines long.
Yeah, that was really weird. Like, you can't call it an article.
Yeah, I was like, this is a blurb.
Yeah,
because I kept scrolling. I was like, is this it? But one of the quotes sparked Katie's creative side.
Okay, so let's focus.
And so we decided to make an episode out of it. The quote is, quote, "The death of classical music is perhaps the oldest tradition of classical music, because in every generation people say, this is it, classical music is no more, but it endures and endures and always will."
Which, like, that stuck out to me. I mean, it wasn't easy for something to stick out to me just because literally, like, I kid you not, it was 4 sentences long. But just to go off of what Delaney said real quick about, like, okay, I had a feeling I wouldn't agree with it too, just because he came from I forgot the writer's name, because he came from such a polarizing standpoint. I knew like one of the counter arguments were gonna be like, was gonna be like to shut down the race thing.
Yeah,
and it's like, I hate when people feel that something is racist or feel like they're being like there's a microaggression, something like that, and people try to downplay it. Like, people have those feelings, and like most of the time they're correct. And I feel like a lot of the reasons why we don't make as much progress as we could be making is because people are so like they want to take race out of everything. Like, everything, like, it can't be racist. Like, there's no way. Like, it's just about the music. Like, just focus on the music. And I'm like, you can't, like, there's a middle between what the original article said and like what you're saying. Like, there's not. You can't take race out of things. Like, especially like when you build a country on racism, like, you cannot take race out of things. Like, it's just unless we're just gonna blow up the whole thing and start again. Like, that's the only way we will be able to take race out of something, especially at least for here. Like, there's just no way. But this stuck out to me because every couple of years there's like a scare about like how classical music is gonna die, and like why we investing all this money into it, and what we really doing, and blase. But every year, nationwide, there are little 4th and 5th graders who start playing an instrument. Like, there's thousands of kids who learn to play violin, thousands of kids who learn how to play viola and bass and trumpet. And it's just like, if classical music is gonna die, like, we keep introducing kids to this music that we love, who is going to carry on the tradition. Like, there's going to be kids just like us who like it, who want to keep playing it. There are going to be kids who like Beethoven. There are going to be kids who like Brahms. They're going to just keep playing. So when I saw this, I was like, classical music is like one of the most tenacious things ever. Like, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep flourishing, because there are people who are still playing. It'll be different if like ain't nobody was playing classical music anymore. Nobody was learning how to play the violin anymore. Then you'll be like, okay, well, yeah, that's about to die in like 50 years. But if people keep learning how to play, in my opinion, it's like, and people keep teaching people like this is something that we love, then there's no way that it can die. I just don't think that's a realistic statement.
What I will say is we need more people, I guess, learning how to run our organizations more efficiently. Because we still
like, what do you mean organizations? Like, you talking about
like our big major orchestras.
Yeah, like the leaders of classical music.
Yes. Because although there are still a lot of people who want to play classical music, I feel like a lot of performers and the average performer in classical music, because it's on like you are not an average performer of classical music. You have classically black, you have like these ideas and you try to like do things, and also you have the education aspect of your career like that. But the average just performer is like, I'm gonna lock myself in a practice room for 6 hours a day, and I just want to play, and I just want to play in tune, and and
that's what I feel like doing.
a lot of classical musicians are not like diversified in what they do like within. So that's why I'm like, well, we still have people that want to play strongly, but what are they willing to do besides play?
That's true. I mean, but if we have, I just think for any idea to be sustained, I think there needs to be people who champion it. So say like you have your class, like Miss Harris's class is 50 beginning bass players, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so of them 50, by the time they get to high school, you only have 20 left. And of those 20, like 10 of them decide they want to keep playing in some capacity. 3 of them make it into a professional orchestra. 5 of them are in arts admin, and 2 of them are classroom teachers. So the 3 that made it into the orchestra is like they'll play in the orchestra. They have 10 people championing. They have 7 people championing them. But then you also have the 40 that dropped off. That, I remember Miss Harris's class. Like, oh my God, that's my classmate. I want to go see him. Like, maybe I'll buy season tickets to XYZ Orchestra. Oh, maybe I'll put my kid in classical music. Like, I remember having so much fun playing the bass. Maybe I'll donate to this XYZ thing. Like, like, I feel like as long as we have people championing the idea of classical music and championing its processes, like, I mean, it's not enough to sustain. It's not enough.
Yeah, no.
Because that's what we've been relying on right now. But to say like something's gonna die, like for something to be dead, there's no one championing. There's no one rooting for it. There's no one who thinks it should be around. Yeah, but you started them 50 kids. It's like that they champion classical music.
What I will say is that like I see those 3 musicians making it into professional orchestras, but which professional orchestra they making it into when half of them shut down by the time they graduate college? Like, I mean, they need people. They need people. Like, we seeing orchestras that's been around for years, like for decades. Freaking Chicago Symphony Orchestra was out, like down for the count for labor disputes, for weeks. An embarrassing amount of time for an organization like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even just that's not just like Baltimore is one thing, and that's still a big organization, but Chicago, like, that's scary.
That was very terrifying because it's like they're one of the big 5. Is that still a thing? I don't know, but they're one of the top 5 orchestras in the country, and it's like y'all out here picketing. I feel like I wonder how like small organizations felt. You know what I'm saying? But there are also a lot of small organizations that do well because they tap into their community and they, people love it. But
yeah, that's why I just don't have a lot of faith in that's not the right word. That's
I was
really
like
depressing.
Wow.
But just like, I especially going to like a conservatory that claims it's not a conservatory, but what it is.
It's literally a conservatory. I don't know why Eastman's so against. Like, you're you're a conservatory. Like,
where's the Comprehensive School of Music, sis?
That's also known as a conservatory. Like, what?
A synonym, if you will.
My teacher told me that viola comes first. He don't care nothing about these other classes I'm taking.
That's
like,
true.
He said that to me. That's what he said to me. He literally telling people. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna put his business out like that. But let's just know. Let's just know that we know where they stand, where them teachers stand. Them teachers will tell you straight up to miss class to practice. If you got something coming up, like, take the L in the class. It's a conservatory, sis. Dr. Lewis never told me that. She's like, well, you really have to go to math. Like, you really have to make sure you're doing well in math. Like, girl, it's a conservatory.
But just seeing how performers, people who want to perform, operate, like, I don't know. I just feel like they don't want to do enough to further the field other than play. And that's when somebody wrote an article about Baltimore Symphony saying, like, oh, it's not the musician's fault or whatever. And then I remember somebody on Facebook was like, shared the article and was like, well, what are you doing as a, like, she was saying that, like, musicians need to be doing more in terms of, like, pushing their administration to diversify the types of things they do in terms of outreach and education initiatives so that they can stay relevant instead of just depending solely on people who don't know how to do their jobs clearly.
It's such a double-edged sword. Like, when you say, like, I was thinking about that the other day. Like, I'm out of school. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, all these passion projects that I have, like, built up inside of me, I'm like, let's go. I ain't taking no 10 credit hours. Like, what we doing, girl? But it's also like, I see my peers who only play, like, who only practice viola. Like, they don't do nothing else. They ain't got no podcasts. They ain't doing no hair. They ain't traveling. They don't do nothing. They're not speaking at conferences. All they do is practice. And those are the people who, like, I'm not saying I won't get there. Of course not. Like, I would never say that. But I'm saying it's going to take me a little bit longer because I have other stuff. Like, when you have 8 hours a day to practice, all you doing is practicing 8 hours a day. You ain't editing no episodes. You're not doing nothing like that. It's like, those are people who get into orchestra. So it's like, it's hard to be like everything that you want to do well takes time. Like, practicing your instrument takes time. If you want to have a quality anything, YouTube channel, podcast, takes time. You want to do stuff like different stuff like what Kaylin's doing. Like, Kaylin is in Decompose. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later. Like, whatever, like, that stuff takes time. Like, these different projects take time, so it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get the people who just want to sit in the practice room all day, because when you start having other distractions, like I'm not even gonna front, like, when sorority season is like in gear, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm the historian for my chapter. It's like, it's a lot that goes into that. It's like, all these things take away from viola. All these things take away from me getting 8 hours a day. So now it's like, I get 4 hours on this day, and I might get, on a bad day, I get 3 hours. Like, on a good day, I get 5 hours. It's like, it's hard to try to balance stuff and try to move with the world when the world you're trying to get into hasn't changed from 1990. Like, they want people who practice 8 hours a day, but the world around it, they want people who can build a website, and they want people who can market themselves, and they want people who could start a blog if they needed to, know how to write grants, know how to teach. It's hard.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not hard for people to balance it. What I'm saying is that people being interested in playing classical music does not make me think that it's not going to, like, that this decline is not going to continue to happen. Like, people wanting to play it is just not enough to me.
Wait, like, elaborate that. I think we talk about two different things. So what do you mean, like, this, what do you mean by people not wanting to play it is enough? I
mean, people wanting to play it is enough. I don't think that that's enough. Like, oh, there are still people that want to go into classical music. Sure, but if you want to go into classical music as a performer, there are administrative things that need to be done to keep these, because who's going to hire you if there's nobody to hire you?
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, people, they need to hire people that have more innovative strategies for keeping these organizations afloat.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times, like,
because you can want a job all you want.
I ain't trying to be rude, but, like, when you look at, like, if you pull up, like, your local orchestra's, like, roster, like, who's in charge of social media? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you got people in charge of social media who, like, don't really know how to navigate it, or, like, they, like, I feel like certain positions, like you can use like people who have better knowledge of it instead of like hiring the same people and like just giving them something that they might not be equipped to do well. You know, like having a person of color on your diversity initiatives and having a younger person on your social media initiatives so they know like how to navigate Instagram algorithms and stuff like that. Like all that stuff is important, but I feel like nobody wants to really do that. And I feel like it shows because those are the orchestras who shut down on the low. You know, no one has, like, the Virginia Symphony, you can't tell me they're not going to be around for a minute, you know, because it's like, regardless of how successful or not their sensory adaptation concerts are going to be, like, that's an innovative idea. Like, I've never heard like anything like that in my life. And, like, there might be a listener who's like, girl, that we doing it right here in Copenhagen. I'm like, oh, girl, that's cool. I didn't know about that. But I'm saying, like, for me, I've never heard of something like that. Like, people, I think we said this before, like people want to keep doing the same stuff over and over and over again, hoping that it's gonna click. I think what I meant is like there won't be a shortage of people who love classical music ever. I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay.
But of course, like love is like not enough to sustain anything, and we've seen that. So speaking of how people are sustaining stuff. I know I said last week that I was in LA. I wasn't just fraternizing and gallivanting at all, actually. I was at YOLA, the youth orchestra of Los Angeles. Their national festival was happening last week. It happened last week, right? Well, like last Thursday, right? Thursday through Saturday. And in conjunction with that was YOLA National. So like they get a bunch of kids from Elsa Summer programs, Elsa Summer Inspire programs around the country, and they come and they do a bunch of rehearsals and a bunch of chamber music stuff, and then they perform with Gustavo Dudamel and a bunch of other conductors at Walt Disney Concert Hall at the end, and it runs in conjunction with the symposium that they're having. So give a little recap and tell you about like what we did and how we felt and how we think this pertains to the future of classical music and stuff like that. So you want to go first, Eleni?
Well, I was just doing my regular job because I work there at the LA Field. So I mean, my job is mostly administrative stuff, behind the scenes stuff. But I have been planning for this for about a month and a half before it happened. So for both the symposium and the festival. So basically I was just around, and which was beneficial because I could kind of go and see whatever I wanted to rather than like my because my job description is basically like everything. So So I basically was just around doing admin stuff and able to see like both some of the like programming and then also some of the res life stuff and some of the production stuff. So that's what I was doing.
And were you able to make it to any of the symposium at all?
I was like over there, but like as far as like staying in sessions and stuff, no.
That's the thing. Like, I definitely want to be able to see if I can sneak over there.
Yeah. I could have more. I definitely could have more, but I was dead tired.
Yeah, next year. I mean, I would definitely want to try to like actually see sessions. I mean, I was an RA, so I had a blast. Like my kids, made it really, really good. I didn't see them often because they were always in rehearsal. Like I was looking at their schedule. I'm like, child, I wouldn't want to do this. Like it's rehearsal. I remember one time I was sitting in on a rehearsal, and they just did like 2 hours of orchestra, and they were like, all right, girl, so go ahead and go to sectionals. I was like, sectionals? After all this, like it's been a full day. Like it's literally 4:00. They've been playing since 9, you know, but they seem to really enjoy it. My girls are really, really great, really good kids. I like working for the LA Phil. It was fun. I don't know how much I can say about that, but yeah, I had a really good time. I met some people. We did things. It was cool to be at Walt Disney Concert Hall, and yeah, I think it was amazing. I definitely like just observing the level of playing that these kids have. Like some of them have private lessons, some of them don't, but it definitely has inspired me with ideas to go back to my own Elsa Summer Inspired program here in Rochester, and and bring. I mean, I'm already meeting. I'm supposed to be meeting with my boss to talk about some of those things because I have
for real.
Yeah, I have
Wait
lots
for me,
of ideas.
because me and we were gonna have a meeting too. We should have a
What are you
meeting with the
meeting
three of us.
Oh, that's what he was saying.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
Because I was gonna have a meeting because we were already planning a meeting for when I go back. Not when I go back, but I will be back within the next couple weeks in some capacity. So.
Oh, for the camp?
No, just I'll probably we'll see what happens with Gateways, and then I still got a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, but yeah, just seeing the level of playing. I'm excited to go back to my own program and see that. I think that's the main thing. I mean, although I was not able to attend the symposium this year, I think that was like the main thing, like seeing how we can serve our own personal programs better. And also, yeah, I've been with Elsa Summer basically all summer, like here, I mean in LA, in Waukegan, Illinois. So it's been a summer filled with Elsa Summer. So it's been good. Okay, so I think YOLA, like, and what Dudamel's doing, like we already talked about, I already gassed him up last week. Like, I think it's a great example of how organizations are working to sustain classical music in a different way. So the donors and stuff like that doesn't always work well, but so you have to think about more innovative ways about sustaining classical music and making classical music accessible. And I think Dudamel and all the people at YOLA, like, they do a really amazing job of doing that here. So Delaney, you want to talk a little bit more about what major orchestras are doing as initiatives and what they can continue to do?
So the answer is not much. One thing I will say about YOLA, and this is something that I will talk to my bosses about before I leave, the LA Phil has so much money, and there are not a ton of places that can say the same, or at least just even touch them in their amount of money that they have. There are some organizations that can, and I'll talk a little bit about how they are allocating those resources, because the way that for the bigger organizations, they definitely have something to learn from the LA Field in terms of, like, where do you put your money?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I'm going to inquire before I leave about, like, what are your core values and what would you be doing if you had an eighth of the budget that you have? Because they're like, the budget that they have is crazy. The amount of money, like, a majority of programs can't do anything that like most of the things that they're doing because, like, they just don't have enough money. But I'm curious to know, like, what are their main priorities? What is the foundation and, like, the meat and potatoes of this? So I'll let y'all know when I get an answer for that. But I just wanted to put that out there because that's something that they were worried about with the symposium, is that, like, certain topics, they didn't want to just, like, they wanted to take the focus off of them because they know that they're an organization that has a ton of money and resources that a lot of the organizations coming to the symposium don't have. So it doesn't do anybody any good to talk about, well, this is what we did with our $7 million budget. Like,
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, also, I think just to defend the LA Phil, it's like you can tell people or give people an idea of, like, what you're doing, and then the people who are going back to their programs, I'm like, okay, so we can't do all of that. But one thing I really like that they do is X, Y, and Z. Like for example, like, okay, so you don't have the budget of the LA Phil because no one has this at the LA Phil, but you, like, Dudamel program, like, Latinx music on the program, have you been doing that? Or are you playing like Sandra Daka with your kids? You know what I'm saying? It's like taking little things like that. Like what are the little things you can take from their overall idea that can influence your program?
Yeah, that's why I'm just saying that in the recap meeting that we had after the symposium, that was one of the things that came up, was that just taking the focus off of things that require a huge budget, so that people can actually, take as much as they can. But in terms of what people are doing or major orchestras are doing to sustain classical music through their initiatives, something that I've been doing lately is looking up how nonprofit organizations, particularly classical music organizations, spend their money. Because these are organizations that hopefully I will be hired by in the future. And there's a certain, and like all this stuff is public because they're nonprofits. So there's a certain tax form. It's the 990 tax form that nonprofits have to file. And on the 990 form, they're required to report the salaries of their board members, which is 0, and their key employees. And one thing that I found very interesting was that the LA Phil was the only orchestra or only organization period that I looked up where the head of their education and learning initiatives is considered a key employee.
That's insane. That is insane.
And listen, I was like, that's indicative. That's it really, and it shows.
It really shows because go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, because a lot of these a lot of organizations are modeling themselves not just after El Sistema but after YOLA, because of how successful it's been, and maybe that's why. So
yeah, because it's just about having people in the room making the important decisions. Like, y'all spend all this money. Y'all spend all this money, but you want to have an education program, but you're not listening to what those people need necessarily, because they're not making any key decisions. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like LA feels like the perfect organization. There's no reason for me to be biased. I like Gustavo, but there's no other reason for me to be biased. I've never played for them. I never, whatever, it's just it's just facts.
I guess I don't even know. I'm in a weird position. I wouldn't say I'm biased, because I also know how it works in practice because I was in YOLA. So, but I do think that I was talking to one of the people on their executive team. This is one of the people that answers to the CEO of the LA Phil, and we were talking about how a lot of education initiatives that are set in place don't last very long. We were talking about one that was really successful in Chicago, but they only had funding for 2 years. So after 2 years, it just wasn't there no more. And she was saying she's confident that YOLA is not going anywhere because it's at the heart of the LA Phil, and it's not on the back of it as an attachment. And I feel like that first of all shows in the fact that they're the only organization that lists their VP of learning as a key employee, and it shows in just the way that YOLA operates. They're getting so much more being fed back into the organization because they hire so many alumni and they have student volunteers and that sort of stuff, because they put so much into their programs for learning. And if you have an orchestra that's oh yeah, we just gonna tack on this El Sistema program on the side, and we gonna send a couple musicians over there once a year, and your results from that program are going to show. If you involve the program, and YOLA goes on tour with the LA Phil. Every time the LA Phil goes on tour, 5-6 kids go with them.
And it's not. There are the orchestras who go on tour. I feel like almost every orchestra goes on tour. Not every, but a lot of orchestras go on tour in some capacity. It's y'all could the big ones that go on tour, like the Chicago Symphony, could definitely afford to take kids with them, but it's also like which kids, like they don't like they're not attached to any else summer inspired program that I know of.
That's crazy.
Like the People's Music School is like the big one in Chicago. They're not
Right.
attached to Chicago Symphony.
That's crazy. But I do think that, I mean, the success of YOLA and the success of the LA Phil and how innovative they are in more ways than just education, it shows in like what their priorities are.
Yeah.
And it's yielding results. I don't know why. Like maybe people are just not doing a good enough job of like looking over to the organizations that are parallel to them and seeing like what they're doing. Maybe they're just so caught up in staying afloat, or like saying, okay, well, what are we gonna do, rather than looking to see what they can learn from other organizations.
Yeah, but I don't understand like why people don't. I said this so many times because it befuddles me every week. It's like I don't understand why you can't look to other organizations and see like what they're doing. Like I don't understand why. Because at the end of the day, we're all playing the same game. Like I'm not stealing your patrons if I'm in Chicago and you're in LA.
But you know what? With the symposium, there's a lot of El Sistema programs doing that. It's just not a lot of major orchestras, I would say. I'm thinking maybe it could be a pride thing. You're this huge organization, this powerhouse that's been, around for 100 years, and now you having issues and you got to be looking over to the other person next to you, paper, trying to see what they're doing. Like they may be like, nah, we got this. We did so-and-so orchestra. Yeah. But that's true. But a lot of, no, I'm not saying this is right, but I feel like that's it, because you can see in a lot of other, like in other fields, like just with the symposium, like the El Sistema inspired programs, the people who are running those programs have no problem coming to the symposium and sharing ideas and seeing what other people are doing. They have no problem doing that, because I feel like they're more open to that. Maybe these orchestras just are not open to that yet. Well, they're gonna have to get open or get closed. So,
like, I'm definitely not condoning that kind of behavior, because I feel like you're not asking somebody to hold $5,000 because your car about to get repoed. Like, ain't nobody say that. Like, this is an organization that like affects multiple people in multiple ways. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I worked at Ravinia for a couple summers, and the director of ticketing or whatever, like, she went to Raven Trap. Is that what it's called? Something like that. Whatever the one in the DMV is. She went over there. She came back. I heard her talking. She was like, and they got this going on, and they do this with their tickets, and like it works so much better, and like we got to try that. And it's like, I feel like almost every other field is like, what are y'all doing? Like, like literally every single field is like that. Like, right. Bringing it back to the vegan thing, because I like vegan food. The Beyond Burger came out. You suck. The Beyond Burger is like a burger that mimics meat, right? So they came out, they have the whole market on lock, right? The whole market on lock. And they got ground beef, they got burgers, they got sausage. And so what do the girls do? They're not going to sit back and just let them like run everything. So this other brand, Light Life, came out with ground beef. It's like, why wouldn't you? You know what I'm saying? It's like you want to see what the other girls are doing. If it's working, how can we do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, attach yourself to an El Sistema inspired program. Why not? Like, give great instruction and feedback into the community, because guess what? If you go to El Sistema inspired program and you're a musician in the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, and then that kid goes home and be like, oh my God, I work with the best violist in the world. Like, she was so amazing. She was so nice. I want to see her perform. Now that family's buying tickets to go see the Chicago Symphony, and then they bring him everybody on their block. I'm like, yo, we went to Chicago Symphony. It was dope. Like, all y'all want to do is slap a movie up on a screen and call it innovation.
And put a Band-Aid on an open wound. Right. Because they're looking for quick fixes and not something that takes time. YOLA has been around for 12 years. Yeah. I think it was 10 years when I graduated, and I think I was the first person from YOLA to go to a music school. Mm-hmm. I wasn't the first person to major in music, for sure. But I was the first person to go to a conservatory. Like, it took all that time for something like that to happen. If that's really your, and that's not even the goal of YOLA. The goal of YOLA is not to create professional musicians. But I'm just saying that, like, that even if an orchestra does choose to attach themselves to an Elsa STEM inspired program, it's not even just about, you have to, like, integrate that into, like, you have to make it a priority,
right?
Or else it's not going to like have any meaningful benefits for you or for 80 people. Like, I mean, it might, just from, you might get a kid that catches on to it and it wants to do music, but, like, in order for it to really work in a like seamless way, like, I feel like it has to be sort of a priority, because at the actually, I was at the pre-symposium day, they had a workshop. I forget what it was called, but it was a workshop about, like, working with young people and stuff. And I was in attendance for that session, and they had a panel before the session of, like, it was at a YOLA site. It was a site visit. They got to see the kids play. They got to walk around and tour. And then there was a panel of, like, 2 young musicians from YOLA, like, kids, and then the VP of learning, and then the conductor, and then another instructor from the site. And one of the people stood up and asked, and I'm sitting on the side doing work on my computer. And when the people asked, like, what are you doing to involve your alumni? Like, once they graduate from YOLA, is that just it? And they were like, actually, Delaney's over there, and she doing this.
Celebrity.
Actually, yep, and that was it. And they were like, she's intern, she works in our office. And, like, that's not to say that, like, that everything that they're doing is perfect. Like, there is nobody that looks like me that works in the education office at YOLA. And there are very few people that look like me that work for the LA Field, period. So there's still ways to go in some capacity, but I'm just saying y'all should be taking notes.
Period.
All
right, let us know what you think about what we have said about the future classical music and what we think the LA Field is doing and what your local orchestra is doing, and we are moving on.
Right.
All right, it's time for Black Excellence, where we hype you up, gas you up, and give you your props, because there's room for everybody at the top. And this week I'm talking about Decompose. That's D-composed. This is a Chicago-based chamber musician group that highlights music and composers within the African diaspora.
Like my type of organization.
Listen, when I tell you I had a lot of fun playing with them, because it was a performing experience that I have never experienced before in my life. Like, it kind of reminded me of church just a little bit, because, like, you know how you play at church and be like, play, baby. Mm-hmm. It was so good. But meanwhile, you really just play to him, like, honestly. But they'd be like, oh, play, baby. Play for the Lord, baby. Like, that's kind of how it was. Like, I subbed in for Decompose a couple weeks ago, and we played at a venue. It was a theater, but, like, they encourage people to, like, if you like something, you can clap. You can be like, you could interact. You know, if you feel like saying, like, Melissa White was on first violin. She will play something. They'll be like, "Ooh, that sounded good." Like, just like stuff like that, like to kind of break down like the barrier in between like performer and audience member. So they create intimate, out of the box experiences. They use chamber music to have a deeper emotional connection with the audience, and they have these musical experiences like in an intimate space. So they'll take it out of the concert hall. They're really into like taking it out of the concert hall and putting it somewhere else. So they'll do it in art galleries and cafes, stuff like that. It was founded by Corey Coleman. She's a graduate of Spelman College. And she's a background in entertainment and lifestyle. She's a former violinist and oboist. I think she quit like when she was a teenager because she was like, girl, this ain't it. Yeah. But she loves classical music. She loves the violin. And so she realizes she works in a lot of like upper echelon, as Kermaine would say, spaces. Like she's worked for Fortune 500 company. Like she has a TV career. She has a luxury lifestyle brand called Chicago Light. So, but she noticed that like there weren't a lot of like people of color like in these spaces like experiencing these things. So she creates these things. So like so the concert I played on was like a love letter to Chicago. So we played a lot of Chicago musicians. So like Florence Price was played because she had her Symphony No. 1 premiered by the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. We played Chance the Rapper.
Time they've played a
right in like the late 1800s.
Composer of color.
We played Chance the Rapper. That was freaking cool. Just stuff like that. They've done a thing where like they paired like cocktails with the music. So every piece that they played had a different cocktail to go with it.
Well, that's cool. Y'all getting lit in there. I see.
Like that is so cool. Like who thinks of that? Like that is like that's like go ahead. That's the kind of creativity I like to see. Like people like to drink, so it's like this. Like that's freaking creative. Like I love that. They did a thing with yoga. Like just like they did something. Kaylin was telling me about with coloring books. So like they had a children's concert where the kids were able to come up and like kind of like almost like a quasi petting zoo type thing, and they had coloring books with like African American composers in it, like just like dope things. So Corey is the one who founded that. A members of the collective will be Danielle Taylor, also known as Yelly, and she is the artistic director and she's the viola to the group. She also presented at YOLA at the symposium last week.
Yeah, right.
And then of course Kaylin Edwards, past Black Excellence, Kyle Dixon, former Black Excellence.
Right. Come on, Black Excellence Alumni League.
Literally. Tahira Whittington, our fave, also former Black Excellence. So whole bunch of blackness going on there, and they're doing amazing work. It's so cool to watch, and it was super cool to be a part of. Like that's the kind of, it's just so dope. Like they're championing works by African American composers, and just like really dope. So check them out. I'll link their Instagram, their gorgeous website. I was like, okay, like it's freaking ridiculous. Like, okay. Yeah, so check them out. Check out their Instagram. Give them some love. All right. You got a piece of the week, Delaney?
Sure do. So
see, every time you do that, I know it's going to be some trifling junk.
It is. I have a silly piece of it. It's so dumb. But I was like, I was going to do this last time it was my turn, but I was like, nah. Okay. So I forgot. I think I was on Facebook or something. I see this link. I'm wondering if you've seen this. It's a YouTube video. And the name is Every Beethoven Symphony.
Oh my God. Thank you for listening to Classically Black Podcast. Don't forget to follow. You are trash. That's not a piece.
Yes, it is. It's actually 9 pieces.
Okay. It's the most cacophonous thing. But you know what?
It actually sounds pretty good.
And you know what? I'm so freaking mad at myself because I clicked on it. First, it came up with my suggestion, and I was like, what the heck is this? And I listened to it, and I'm over here being a freaking loser, like being like, oh, I hear that symphony right there. Oh, there goes Symphony No. 1 right there. Oh, there goes. Like, I was like,
yeah,
seeing if I can hear them.
9 is like all you can hear is 9.
I mean, I bet you like the last freaking 30 minutes of it, right?
Oh no, I'm talking about like in the beginning. I think it's weird. Like in the beginning, I guess every other symphony is quiet at that one part because it's just all 9. It's like maybe 5 minutes in.
Yeah, it was cool. I guess I didn't listen to much of it because all like you can't hear much.
Some parts are cacophonous, but some of it actually sounds good. So
some of it does. It's crazy.
That's my piece.
Some of it does sound good. All right, so. Check it out. It's a cool video.
Yeah, I'll link it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to Classically Black Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Classically Black Podcast. If you have a piece of the week suggestion, that's actually like one piece.
Okay, it is one piece.
Black Excellence suggestion, intermission suggestion. Don't forget to email them to us at classicallyblackpodcast@gmail.com. And we will talk to y'all next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.